In this video, I'm going to be talking you through how to install OctoPrint on a Raspberry Pi. For this project, you're going to need a micro SD card. I'm personally using an 8GB sized one. I wouldn't recommend going any lower than that in terms of storage. And obviously you'll need a Raspberry Pi. You'll also need a Raspberry Pi power supply. I'm using a Raspberry Pi 4B with 4GB of RAM. If you want to check if your Raspberry Pi is compatible with the software, then that is on the OctoPrint website. So the first step is to open up your browser. I'm using Safari, but this will work fine on Chrome or pretty much any other browser. I've headed over to the Raspberry Pi website and I've clicked on the Softwares tab, and I'm now downloading the Raspberry Pi OS. And if you're on Windows or Mac, you can save that in the downloads area, it's up to you. And now you just wait for that to download. Once it's downloaded, I'm opening it up and I'm dragging it into the applications folder, and it will appear in the launchpad. And then you just want to go ahead and allow all the permissions. Now you want to insert your micro SD card into your computer or into an adapter. Okay, so now I've opened up the imager and I'm going to choose my device. I said before that I was using a Raspberry Pi 4B, so I'm just going to select that. I'm going to click on the operating systems button and then find the other specific purpose OS page. Once I found that, I'm going to click on 3D printing and OctoPi, and I'm going to download the most stable version. I'm then going to choose my storage. I'm choosing the SD card that I inserted into my computer, and then I'm going to press next. Once you've pressed next, press edit customization settings, and this is the page that you should see. I've ticked the set host name box. What that means is when I go onto my browser, I'll type in the hostname .local, and that will give me access to the server. You can change that to whatever you want. You also want to configure the wireless LAN. This will allow your Raspberry Pi to connect to the Wi-Fi. So input your SSID and password that you want your Raspberry Pi to connect to, and make sure it's exactly the same as it is in your settings. This is pretty much the last step in the imager, so there isn't really any other settings under services or options, so you can press save after this. Once you've pressed saved, when it says would you like to apply OS customization settings, make sure you say yes. I accidentally pressed no and I had to redo all of this. And then just input your password to allow it to make changes and allow all the permissions. After that, you just want to wait for it to write to the SD card, and then you should be good from there. Once it's finished verifying, you can remove the SD card from your computer and plug it straight into your Raspberry Pi. The SD card slot is underneath the Pi. Here I'm just plugging in the cable that connects my Raspberry Pi to my 3D printer, which I already said was a USB-A to micro USB cable. And then I'm going to plug in my Raspberry Pi power supply into the USB-C port. And you can see that the printer turns on and my BL Touch is activated. Once everything's plugged in, I've gone onto my browser and I've typed in the hostname .local, and this is the first page that I'm met with. I don't have any backup, so I'm going to press next. And here I'm going to create a username and password so that only I can access the server and no one else on the network can. So from here I'm just enabling the connectivity check, and then I'm going to enable anonymous user tracking. Obviously if you want to read through it and you don't want to, you can do that, and you can also change how you feel about things later on. If you have a webcam or a Raspberry Pi cam, make sure it's plugged in and then you can test it there. Give your printer a name so you can easily find it. And on this page, define the print volume. So this is going to depend on what kind of 3D printer you have. So you might have to look up what the build volume actually is and input it here in millimeters. If you have an Ender 3 Pro or an Ender 3 V2, the dimensions are going to be the same as mine. If you're using a nozzle larger than 0.4 millimeters or you've got more than one extruder, then enter that here. And then finally, read the disclaimers and tick all the boxes and you're good to go. As we get towards the end of the installation, you'll just have to do one last reload of the page, and this is OctoPrint. So we're on the temperatures tab right now. We have the controls tab where you can control the printer, but you need to make sure it's connected first in the left tab where it says connection. So press that. Now you'll be able to control the printer, and you can see I'm doing it here from my laptop. So that is how you install OctoPrint on a Raspberry Pi. I hope you found it helpful. If you didn't, feel free to leave a comment or message me somehow and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you found the video okay. It's my first one, so I'm still learning and I'm looking to improve. So if you have any improvements or tips, you can let me know. But thank you once again for watching.